Welcome to day 2 of the Next Move Clarity Challenge. I hope you're doing well today. If you are back for day 2, let me know by just putting a 2 in the chat. Hello, Joyce. It's always so good to see old clients. I'm just so grateful for everyone showing up today. Hey, Alina, Jennifer, Johnny, nice to see you. Sarah, amazing, amazing. So, before I go on for 30 minutes, can you guys just give me a thumbs up? Like, I can hear you crisp and clear. I set up my fancy mic today. So, let me know. Last night, I ended up re recording day 1, and there is a link in the playlist. I'll be sure to send it out in all the emails that I give to you. But I listened back and I was like, oh, yeah, it's super choppy. And I realized when I get excited, I'm naturally high pitched as is. But when I get excited, I think it goes up another octave. And I'm realizing that these microphones are so good at trying to take away any like background noise. So I don't know if that's what the deal was, but test I tested everything double time. So hopefully it works better. Crystal clear. Audio is perfect. All right, we're ready to jam then. So grateful that you guys are here today because yesterday was all about discovering and unearthing what misalignment burnout is. And today we're actually taking a moment to figure out what wants to come alive in you. What really wants to be expressed? Because I believe the more we express our natural gifts and talents, the more connected we are, the more fulfilled we are, the more energized we are. And I know so many of you just want your spark back. So we're going to go into it today. As we give people just another minute to join, I'd love to hear in the chat any takeaways from yesterday. Did anything from yesterday really stick with you? Maybe it was a small realization, a shift, a permission, I have more compassion for myself. Drop it in the chat. I want to hear. Okay, I'm so glad. That is a fancy mic. I've had it. I just sometimes don't set it up. But today, make sure you whip out your workbook. We're going to be going over this entire exercise for day 2. It's going to be so fun, especially for my pragmatic people who are like, I needed working direction. We're going to make that happen today. Okay, Johnny says clarity lives in the creative brain, not the survival brain. Absolutely. That's also where possibility lives. We are often finding the same characters, just a different scene. Yeah, I'm really big on breaking patterns. Validation regarding the exhaustion keeping me stuck. The realization that I've outgrown my current role, feeling more hopeful. I realized I was in a very different place in my life when I originally took this job. Yes, and permission to grow, permission to evolve. Beautiful. Awesome. Keep them coming. I know this always helps so many others who just want to like see what resonates for others as well. Because I always say what's personal is universal. So yesterday wasn't about fixing anything. It was really about understanding why you've been feeling stuck or burned out or overwhelmed. And again, it's not because you're incapable. It's not because you're not smart. It's because we've stopped fitting something that we're forcing ourselves to do. And we've been often trying to just power and white knuckle our way through it anyway. And that, again, is what's causing us to just feel like I'm stuck. I'm in this like holding pattern and I don't know where to go. So today we're shifting from what's not working to what is really, again, trying to come back online inside of you. Not just what you can do, because I know a lot of you can do a lot of things, but who are you when you feel most like yourself? Because when you can name what you're actually good at and what gives you energy, this is when you stop taking misaligned roles. You stop chasing things that look impressive or sound impressive, but leave you feeling really empty inside. Let me know, like type in me into the chat if you know you have been kind of chasing something, but it's deeply misaligned. And now you're wondering, well, what else is possibly out there for me? If you type in me, then this is going to be really resonant for you today. And I want to share that I have a lot of clients that come to me initially saying things like, I don't even know what my gifts are anymore. I've been in this role or this industry for so long. I don't know where else I'd go or like what else I could possibly do outside of these walls. So type in a one into the chat if that's you as well. And just know you're not alone, as you can see here. Hey, Liana. Hey, Kelsey. Nice to see you. So here's something important to know before we go further. Most people don't lose touch with their gifts because they don't have any. They lose touch with them because of how work rewards us, how the workplace rewards us. And so I want to go through in the first page here the 3 common reasons your gifts can feel invisible sometimes, or sometimes you feel disconnected from them. So the first reason, in no particular order, is oftentimes we're rewarded for being dependable. You know, if you think about it from a very early age, we get praised for being organized, reliable, responsible. And I want to share those are real strengths, like those are real value adds, and we need those parts of us. But those adjectives of being reliable, independent, responsible, organized, they're often describing how you show up. They're not really what you're naturally gifted at. You know, so type in a 3 into the chat because I just want to see the different numbers. If you've been thinking like my superpower is being reliable, I'm just really good at being the person that anyone can go to. I can solve all the problems, I can answer all the problems. Okay, beautiful. So, again, it is very useful, it is very valuable. But underneath reliable, underneath organized, you know, there's usually something deeper. And that's what I want you to extract. You know, underneath being reliable, maybe it's that you're always the person that people go to because they want to feel calmer. Maybe you're really great at connecting people. You know, maybe you can see the patterns that other people can't see. Maybe you're the person who can stay really calm in very chaotic environments and situations. So just recognize that clarity comes from noticing what is driving these adjectives. Again, the way that you're showing up, what's underneath it? What's the actual talent? What's the actual gift here? Okay. So the second reason is your real gifts often feel really normal to you. You know, how many of you think that what you do just comes so easy that anybody else can do it? I feel like so many clients that I work with start discounting their gifts because they think it's no big deal. You know, it must be easy for everyone else. And when things are easy, when things are in flow, when it feels effortless, those are generally a clue that that's a gift for you. And I really want to emphasize this because I get the privilege of working with people with all different backgrounds, all different personalities, all different skill sets. And I can tell you, people have very clear strengths and through lines. And yet they're often the ones that they feel are just not a big deal at all. So your zone of genius is at the intersection of what are you really good at and what do you enjoy doing? Again, it's that flow state. It's that pinpointed ease and effortlessness. So reason number 3 is chances are you've been in the same lane for a long time. You know, when you've done one type of work or you've been in one role or industry for years, it is really easy to start defining yourself by your title instead of your abilities. So again, we focus and fixate on our skills, our knowledge, our expertise, but we stop thinking about what is that theme, what is that through line that transfers outside of this. And over time, you tend to forget your range and the essence of what it is that you do underneath. the fancy acronyms or certifications. So if you are following along, skills can be company specific. Skills can be company specific. Gifts are transferable. That's what I want you to know. Gifts are transferable. And that's what we're going to excavate together here. So when you can name your gifts, you can translate yourself anywhere. You are able to express and be and share that talent and that gift. It doesn't matter what industry, it doesn't matter what role you're in. Okay, let me just check in. Perfect. So remember yesterday I shared about my executive assistant client who has 2 offers for strategic roles. I don't want you to discount your gifts just because you're not paid for them. Like, I really want to share, in her case, she knew she was strategic. She really owned the fact that she would share ideas behind closed doors and they'd get implemented without getting credit people wouldn't give credit to her, but she would see people take my ideas and fly with them. So it's very important that you recognize your gifts and you take ownership of them, whether or not you're paid for them, and that you start to express them. And a lot of people, to me, career and life is very intertwined. Everything affects your personal and your professional. And so I want to share, I had a client who was just feeling really stuck and overwhelmed. Couldn't think of clarity because she just had so much going on. Again, mentally, emotionally tapped out and exhausted. And so I asked her, what brings you joy? What do you love doing? And she actually paused for a little while and she eventually said, dancing. I actually really love dancing. It brings me so much joy, but I can't remember the last time I did it. Ever since working this Big 4 consulting job, have just been working so many demanding hours. I really can't think about the last time I picked up my ballet shoes. And so her assignment was to register for a dance class, not to make it a part of her career, but just to get back in tune with the things that bring her joy. And the beautiful, amazing thing of this is once she started dancing again, she just felt so much more invigorated and alive again. And she said, I don't even have to change my job right now. I suddenly have so much more energy and I actually get excited to go to work again. Isn't that pretty amazing that you don't have to make drastic changes to have incremental, subtle improvements in your life? And again, everything is a domino effect. So this is a question that I want to pose to you. What is something that you love that you've been depriving yourself of? What is it that you get so much joy from that you want to start doing more of? And again, it doesn't have to be this is my career. I must be the best at this. I must be paid for this. We're allowed to just enjoy our passions and have our career be the vehicle that allows us to enjoy our passions and the life outside of work. Okay, so let me pause here. I want to actually take a moment to see what gifts come up for you guys. Collaging, making art. Yeah, I had another client who said she got a sewing machine because she just loves doing things with her hands. And ever since she's been allowing herself to do that, she's feeling more connected again. Beautiful. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of really fun, creative things come through. Yeah. So I really want to let you know I'm big on nervous system regulation, and I want you to allow yourself to do this and see it as being productive. This is a productive act that's going to get me back into more clarity, into more flow, into more ease. Okay, beautiful. So again, just because you're not paid for something, just because you're not the best at something doesn't mean that you discount it. It matters, and that's what actually gives your spark back, okay? So we're going to move into the fun part. This number 3 is I don't need to follow my passion. I need to use my gifts in a way that feels meaningful. I'm a huge believer of not following your passion. Doing your passion, yes. Expressing your passion, yes. But it doesn't have to be in a career. So, I want to give you a very simple way to think about your gifts. We're not talking about job titles today. If there's a job title that comes out very clearly, wonderful. But I want to move you away from titles because I mentioned yesterday there's so many titles out there, and there honestly are so many new titles and obscure titles. What matters most is that you know what is the theme, what is the through line, what is the talent or the gift that I want to express that brings me liveliness. So, we're going to go over three categories in your workbook, and I'm going to give you time to brainstorm after we review the exercise. So, for now, just listen. The first is you're going to explore and list out your energizing gifts. So, these are the activities, the things that give you energy when you use them. Again, you feel more like yourself afterward. Instead of leaving you drained, you actually feel like, oh my God, I got more energy out of this. I ended up losing track of time. I just feel so much more alive and invigorated after. So, some examples might be like when I teach, when I'm connecting people, when I'm creating beautiful designs, right? So, think about the activities that you enjoy doing, both paid and unpaid. The second box is going to be listing out your effortless gifts. So, effortless gifts are the things that people thank you for that don't feel like a big deal to you. Another really helpful prompt in looking at this is if you had a volunteer, what would you raise your hand for? Like, what's the thing that naturally you would gravitate towards in a nonprofit, for instance? Another way to ask this question is what am I continuously getting recognized for or acknowledged for? And then the last is your emerging gifts. And I really love this because, again, we evolve, our interests evolve, our curiosity evolves. So I want you to list out the things that you feel drawn towards. Like, even if you're not good at them yet, on some level, you want to learn it, you want to master it, you want to become better at it. And these emerging gifts really point to your curiosity and just like what really excites and interest you these days. So, something important before we get into it is if you're looking at this list and your mind goes blank, don't fret, just breathe. Know that typically it means you've been in fight, flight, or freeze mode for some time. Maybe you're coming off of like an exhausting workday. Just breathe. You can come back to this. Don't force yourself to try to write answers down. Okay. So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to brainstorm across the three categories. So again, we're going to go list out your energizing gifts, your effortless gifts, and your emerging gifts. And it's okay if you have the same words or themes pop up in multiple columns. Like, just allow whatever wants to come through. Don't aim for perfection. Just pen to paper, write what comes up instinctively. Okay, so are you ready? I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. I wish I had music, but I don't want to get flagged for copywriting. Okay, I'm going to set a timer, and I just want you to let yourself brainstorm. And hopefully, you guys all have the workbook. Just in case, Perez, can you drop it in case anybody needs the link? Okay, we have about 30 more seconds. Okay. Wherever you're at right now, you can go ahead and pause and just know you can always come back to this. But I want you to look across the columns and what you wrote. And again, instead of thinking in job titles, I want you to ask, what themes do I see here? Or what feels interesting or exciting? Maybe naturally something jumps out at you. What am I noticing here? So, for example, you might see, I love creating beautiful things. I love advising. I love connecting with people. So, what you want to do is kind of jot down some of the themes that you're seeing. And for now, you can circle the two or the one that just feels most true right now. And if you'd like to share in the chat what you've written, you can definitely do that. Day 3, I'm going to be opening up some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions or this was more challenging than you expected, no worries. You can bring that forth on day 3 as well tomorrow. But I'd love to just see what you've come up with. So let's see. Art, design, solving IT problems, entrepreneurship. Ooh, interesting. Training and teaching, connecting people, helping others. Beautiful. So, yeah, these are gifts. These are the things that come natural that you want to express and do more of. And that's a really big theme because when you look at these, there's actually a lot of different career paths that can fit in on that. And we'll talk more about like what to do when you have so many possibilities and how to narrow that down. Beautiful. So I'm seeing leadership and digital design. Awesome. You guys are rocking. Beautiful. I see Alina is like really about meeting new people, dressing up, seeing beauty. Beautiful. Yeah. You can also see some themes of values in these as well, which is really fun. So, again, I want to note it one more time. You do not need to monetize your passion. You need a path that uses your gifts in a way that feels meaningful to you. If you can find a career that allows you to do this on a day to day basis, you'd be pretty content. Again, there's other non negotiables and there's a lot of other ingredients, but to me, like a North Compass is really looking at your values and your gifts, which is, again, values was day 1, gifts is today, kind of what we're exploring here. So if you're still feeling stuck, by the way, you can try this quick prompt. The part of my job that drains me the most is a lot of times our brains like to fixate on the negative, and it's really easy to pinpoint like what is causing us a lot of pain. So the part that you dread, the part that you hate, the part that drains you, you can write that down and then draw an arrow to writing the opposite. So if it's, I hate being in front of people all day or being stuck behind a desk, maybe it's, I want to be on my feet more. I want to be in front of people more. So just know that knowing what you don't want is great clarity too, because we get to flip it. We get to say, okay, I want the opposite of that thing. I want to share a quick example. I had an inner magic client who felt drained by presentations. Like she said, every time she had to do a presentation, she actually was riddled with anxiety and she'd lose so much sleep and she didn't enjoy them. And even after the presentations, she was just like, ugh. She loved researching and creating the deck, though. And so her curiosity actually led to asking her teammates if there was a way that they could adjust their workflows so that she could be heavy on the research, she could create the decks, and then a colleague could do the presentations. And it turns out her colleague hated the research and the creation part, but loved presenting, loved being in front of other people. So without quitting her job or making drastic moves, she's so much happier in her current position because, again, just one little direction. I really believe that clarity comes from figuring out the next micro step. I feel a lot of us ideate all day. We try to come up with perfect 5-year plans. We want certainty. And to me, I talk to a lot of people who say, I feel stuck. And when I hear that, I'm like, you've been expending a lot of energy walking in the same place. And no wonder you're so exhausted and tired. But when we take a micro action, we get to move in a direction. We get to say, oh, I like this. Or no, that's not right for me. I'm going to walk this way instead. But either way, we're expending energy, but we're moving, right? And that's what so many of you want. You want movement, you want momentum. Am I right? Type in yes into the chat if that sounds like you. And so, again, we don't have to make huge decisions. Honestly, a lot of times people have so much anxiousness and overwhelm, and they're like thinking about all the what ifs and hypothetical scenarios that haven't yet happened. And I always tell my clients, when you get that offer, you see all the details in front of you, you've been in the environment, you talk to the right people, the actual people you're going to be working with, you're going to have a feeling. And tomorrow we're going to dig into that even deeper because, yeah, I have a lot to say on that. Okay, good. I'm glad that resonates. So we're just talking about micro actions, micro steps. And by the way, how cool is it that everyone has different gifts? I think sometimes we think that we're all competing for like one viable job. Like there's so many candidates, but I have clients tell me they want to be more customer facing. And I have others that are like, no way, like do not put me in front of customers. Like there's truly something for everyone. And I think that's so cool. So when you know your gifts, again, just know that once you are in it, things will come more natural for you. So I want to give you permission to do something that most people don't do when they start to brainstorm directions and paths. Because as you start looking at this and you take it another level deeper, you might start to brainstorm, okay, these are potential paths. So what you want to do is cross things off. Elimination is a beautiful thing. So if a role that you're eyeing requires more schooling, you don't want to go back for another degree or certification. That's clarity. Cross it off. If it caps out below what you want to earn, okay, nope, not for me. Cross it off. Again, if it looks impressive, but the day-to-day drains you, cross it off. If it requires weekends when you want to be home, cross it off. Crossing off is such a great way to narrow in. And I work with a lot of clients who have real constraints, visa situation, timing, income needs, family needs. So clarity doesn't mean pretending like reality doesn't exist. It just means choosing a direction that allows you to fulfill your non-negotiables, to fulfill like life that actually requires what you want, need, and desire. And again, that's alignment instead of misalignment. I know we're close on time. Is it okay if I go 5 minutes over? Just thumbs up, thumbs down. I'll try to wrap this up. So I said this in day one, but I think it's worth repeating that your career should support your lifestyle, not the other way around. And I'm so big on life design. There's, again, so many realistic paths out there. There's over 10,000 job titles. And then that's not even including entrepreneurship, right? So sometimes you have to make requests like my client did. When we advocate for our needs, we get clarity either way. I think a lot of you are in jobs, but you haven't made the ask. And so that's something that I really want you to get clarity around as well. So your growth assignment tonight is again to write one working direction. From your brainstorm, something you're curious to explore based on your themes, what you've eliminated. And again, this isn't a decision. This isn't a perfect 5-year plan. This isn't a forever goal. It's not set in stone. It's not even a commitment. It's just curiosity at this stage. And again, if all you have is more of what you don't want and translating that, that is perfect. That counts as a direction. So tomorrow I'll show you how people move forward with a direction like this without panicking or burning out. We're gonna also go over, like, a lot of you, I feel, type in one into the chat if you're like, I know what I want, but I can't make myself move in that direction, or I haven't taken action on it. If that's you, tomorrow is going to be really helpful for you as well. Okay, starting to see ones come through. So, by the way, some clients tell me, like, I don't feel excited about anything. Type a 2 into the chat if you're like, everything kind of feels lackluster to me. And again, this isn't because you lack passion. It isn't because you lack a direction. It's again going back to a dysregulated, burned out, overwhelmed nervous system. Like, nothing is going to feel exciting, and that's okay. Tomorrow, we're going to go over how to overcome that and also start moving, because clarity without action is just an idea. I don't want you to slip back into overthinking. I don't want you to slip into just waiting for clarity. We got to make a move. We got to get some direction going so that we can get feedback. And if you're feeling like, I don't want to move in a direction because it feels impossible or it feels too much or too overwhelming, again, tomorrow is made for you. So for now, today, just list out the working direction. We'll take the direction you named, and tomorrow we're going to turn it into a step that feels doable for you. And that's it. No fixing, no planning. That's it. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed delivering this. I'm seeing so many of you guys. Yeah, just really excited. Same place tomorrow. And tomorrow's actually 60 minutes. So make sure you carve out the time for that. And again, we'll have Q&A. So if you had any questions through day 1, day 2, or just about your life in general or your career, bring it tomorrow. And I can't wait to connect with you. And I'll bring this mic with me as well. Awesome. You guys are amazing. Have a great evening. Take care.